What's going on, everybody?
You just said that. Why do you do this?
You know what? You're right.
Yeah,
It's your turn to open
gotta
the show.
start.
Go.
Take two. Welcome everybody. It's your boy Hemi.
And it's your boy, Kyrie.
And welcome to another episode of What's the
What's
Point?
the point?
Nope, we're not gonna hit
Hey.
it. And that's okay.
No.
Okay.
We were only
We're
a
gonna
second behind each
roll,
other. We
we're
were
gonna
one
roll
second.
right through.
We were 1 second behind each other this time.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna move on, everybody. One day we'll get it.
That's why your head's too big for your camera.
Moving on. I don't have time for this. So today we are gonna be delving into the wonderful topic of love and marriage
Oh,
and
God.
all the things that are wrapped in between that.
All
We have a great guest on today. One of my closest, nearest, and dearest friends is going to come on and discuss this topic with us.
one of the mean
Everybody,
girls.
let's welcome Kong to the show.
Yes. Part of the Huey, Dewey, and Louie gang. Come on, man. Yay.
Hello, hey.
Thank you so
What up,
very
what up,
much
what
for
up?
being on the show. It is good
No
to finally
problem.
have you. We know that we were trying to get you to be a guest for a while in the first season, but things did not flow the way we wanted. So we're very happy to have you this time.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes,
You ready to talk?
Let's
ready to
talk.
dish
Let's get it.
We're going to spill the liquid out of this cup. Okay, so we'll.
Just tip the cup, as they would say.
Yes. So we're going to delve right in. Probably my first question, friend, is so you have been married before and currently married now. So let's
Correct.
discuss first marriage to a woman.
Mm.
What prompted you to get married the first time to a woman?
Let's backtrack. First of all, before we ask that question, which we will answer that question, my question is this. When it came to it, were you getting married because you actually were in love, or were you getting married because you felt like it was the right thing to do? Because as black men, that's one of the things that's ingrained in us is you got to find a woman and breed out 50 million fucking kids.
That's the
So
question I just asked him.
no, you didn't.
You just used different words.
Maybe I just made it sound
No,
better. But anyway, okay.
technically,
So
no. It was a different question. It's a different question.
I think it's different. You know what I'm saying? But I want you to answer both questions, but that is something that I really want to know just off the rip is when you got married, like what can you say your reasonings why you got married, but at the core of it for me, which one was it more, I guess is what I'm saying. Did you feel like you had to because as a black man, that's something that we are taught to do, or was it love, or did you that's what I'm saying. So if I'm asking it but more in a different way, I mean that's cool. But yes.
Are you
So
referring to the first marriage?
yes.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Let me be ready to cuss me out, y'all. Go ahead, sir.
Um, to answer your question is to understand where I come from and to kind of know my backstory. I'll make it as short as I possibly can. I consider myself a parentless child. I was born to a mother at the age of 14,
Mm.
and my mother ended up having 7 kids, and she was with my stepfather who was abusive, whatever. And I was a kid that had too much freedom too early. I was
Yeah.
able to, catch the bus at 8 years old anywhere I wanted to, and so forth and so on.
Right.
So, anyways, fast forward to me being 14 years old and moving in Southwest Detroit. Um, like I said, I had freedom to do whatever the hell I want to do. I met my ex-wife at school, and I was in love with her. I was attracted to her because she looked just like Darlene off of Roseanne, and I had the biggest crush on Darlene.
I'm gonna say time like Darlene, honey.
Wait, really?
Yes.
So you like the
Okay.
plastic smart mouth type of bitch.
I have a thing still to this day. I am mostly attracted to pretty stud lesbians.
And Darlene does give.
Oh,
Darlene does
oh,
give stud
oh,
lesbian.
fuck. Okay.
She
Darlene
does.
doesn't give. Darlene is.
Right, like the actress herself is a lesbian. So yes, yeah.
Yeah. So she was like,
What the-
attraction to anything was Darlene from Roseanne.
So were you married when she? Were you mad when she married Mark?
No.
Moved into a whole different thing, and that was
No.
definitely
Let me
very
finish. Can I finish?
No, you're right. She had David. Okay, I'm always wrong about something. Anyway, go ahead, Con. I'm sorry.
So, anyways, I met my ex-wife at high school, and pretty much I moved in with her and her family at the age of 15. And from that point on, shit, I've been an adult.
Right.
And we were, she introduced me to sex, drugs, liquor, and all that stuff. And then by the time she got pregnant with our first child, she found God and said, "We're not having sex no more until we get married."
Now, how old were y'all?
Right.
I was 19 and she was 20.
Okay.
So she made you put the Christian lockdown on to get the pussy.
Pretty much.
Well, damn.
So that was
what,
your reason for getting married. She said no more nookie.
Right.
Pretty much.
Wait,
Until
and she was serious about that?
there are a lot of women
Pretty
that think
much.
about that shit. Yeah.
Definitely.
So looking back
Still-
on it, do you feel like that forced your hand and you didn't have a choice but to marry her back then?
Yeah, pretty much. I was young and I pretty much been with her since I've been 15. I had built a life with her and we was all intertwined. I'm like, it only made sense. Like, might as well. Let's just go on and do it.
So was
Now-
this an interracial relationship?
Yeah.
Okay, for the snow bunny.
And her parents were okay with you moving in at 15.
Well, she was staying with her grandmother,
Okay.
and she
Right.
stayed on a block where her whole family lived on. So while she was living with her grandmother, I was staying down the street of her aunt's house.
Huh.
Oh,
So y'all weren't in the same house.
Right.
Right. But eventually we were. Like, by the time I was like 17, we were in the same house living together.
So damn, life for you got started really fucking early.
Oh, yeah.
You got to realize, Cole, white people and black people got different values of what they daughter can do.
Well, some.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying.
Because you know what I'm saying? Because it could have gone the other way. He could have gone there and had a shotgun, you know what I'm saying, waiting for him. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
Some
exactly
people
what I'm
are-
assessing here. I'm
Carnage
a
just
little, I'm a
oh.
little floored. I'm just a little floored. I'm assessing it all. That's all. I mean, I
And
get
I
a
was
lot of
supposed to say,
things done too, but damn.
Carnage is actually right. Like, these, it's like, I'm not gonna call them like trailer trash type white people, but these are white people in Southwest Detroit, and it's like
They trailer parks. It's the Detroit redneck, if you will.
pretty much.
I understand. Yeah.
Good.
I
Ain't nothing wrong with
Moving
it.
on.
I
I
chose
love it.
not
I
to
love it when you're
participate
right
in
back at
this racial conversation.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Shit. If you got a double wide, I'll be double wide. Let me tell you something. Okay, I'll be all inside. Just so you know.
Well, you double wide regardless, but anyway.
You
So-
moving on.
So I do
So-
want to ask,
Yes,
Marco,
Henry.
how long were y'all married?
We were married for 9 years.
Oh wow, really?
Okay.
We were married for 9 years, but we wasn't together the whole marriage.
Like,
So
So-
what was the demise of the marriage? Like what?
yeah, that's what I'm gonna ask. Like,
was
what
the-
kind of
A year into it, I acted on being gay, and once I got a taste of that, it wasn't no going back.
So did she discover by accident that you were doing this, or did you just come out and say, "I don't want to be with you anymore"? Like, how did
No,
the
I
what was
told
the
her.
downfall?
I actually told her after we had our first child that I like men too. She was well aware of it. Um, but after a while, I believe that she was going through postpartum
Yeah.
before it became like a big thing, and she just kept having kid after kid after kid and not dealing with the postpartum, and she was always in a depression to where she wasn't doing nothing. She wasn't being a mother to the kids or cleaning, cooking, or anything.
Damn, she made her postpartum. Uh, she made her postpartum like uh, a,
A part of her life.
a normal, yeah, a normal state.
Yeah,
And
pretty much. Because we had stair-step children. They like back to back to back to back. And she never got the chance to deal with it on top of, having to deal with the bisexual husband that I'm sure in her mind, out here fucking with men too. I'm sure that took a lot on her.
What about how did you take it? How did you handle that situation? I've been through it myself, and that's with just one child. How did you manage dealing with a consistent, persistent issues of postpartum with your partner and dealing with the kids as well?
I think at some point I kind of like tuned her out and blocked her out. I was pretty much living my own life and doing my own thing and would only come in the house to go to sleep and wake up and leave and go to work, and it was on repeat constantly.
but you don't find that at some point that became kind of selfish though? Because I mean, she's going through postpartum. And how many children did you guys have together?
I have four by the time I was 22.
Okay. So, okay, well, that also plays into the role. You don't really know what postpartum is. And you see her going through these different changes, and you kind of mentally check out. Do you feel at any point looking back that that was selfish to do? Because, like, knowing what you know now is what I'm saying. You know, like, if you could have gone and changed it, would you have been more involved and less just go to work and come home type situation? Because I know that's something that we tend to do when things get too emotional or things that we can't handle until we don't know what they are. We just tend to shut off that thing and block it out. So, like in reflection, like what have you thought about that time? Like when you saw her going through postpartum, because it is a very difficult thing for any woman to go through. My sister, she had friggin' four babies. So I've actually one sister had four, one had three, one had two. So I've seen all of them go through it in different ways. So I'm just asking you, like, what was your take, and like, what made you check out at that time? Like, what was she doing that made you feel like, okay, I really can't handle this?
Well, I mentioned this was before postpartum was postpartum. This was,
Mhm.
during the 90s, and it was
Mhm.
a whole big thing during that time. So I didn't know, she didn't know.
So y'all
So
just
it
was
wasn't,
sad all the time.
huh?
So y'all just pretty much thought she was sad all the time.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And she was. It was like, after her mother died, it was like she just like went
Yeah.
head forward into a deep dark depression. What
What,
she still is, she still is into this depression to this day and has a
uh,
new child.
well, when did you realize that that's what she was going through postpartum?
I didn't realize that until long after we separated, until I really got to know what postpartum is, and I was like, okay, that's what she was dealing with.
Do you think if postpartum had been more knowledgeable back then, do you think you would have found ways to make your marriage work with her, like going to counseling or something like that? If you guys had the knowledge and the tools, even with you being bisexual, do you? Okay, so you know.
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right, cool.
No.
Okay, so let
So
me talk.
let me ask, what was the tipping point that made you move away, say I can't do this anymore? Like,
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask that same question.
What did it for me is that I felt like I can do better for my kids being not there than I can being there.
Right.
So
Because
you took
not
the
only
kids
was
and
she in
left.
a depression, I was in a depression too.
Yeah, because one can affect the other. That is true.
So you took the kids and left.
No. I left, and I was seeing them on the weekends. And a year into me leaving, I met my ex, who I was with for 9 years.
Okay. Because at one point you had all 4 of the kids. You had
Yeah.
all 4 of them, right?
Well, I ended up gaining. Well, when we went through our divorce, I filed for custody of my son because I asked all my children, who wants to come live with me, and my son was the only one that said he wanted to, because I didn't want to forcefully take my children away from their mother, and they grow up having this bitterness, like, daddy took me away from my mama. So I let them say, they want to come with me, and only he said he wanted to come with me. So we ended up going through a year-long custody battle during our divorce, and by the end of the divorce, I ended up winning custody of them. And then maybe like 5 years later, the courts removed my daughters from her and awarded them to me.
What was the deciding factor on you getting the custody? If you
Of
don't,
my son in the beginning?
yeah.
Well, the only thing she had against me is that I was gay. The only thing she kept saying is that he gay, and I don't want my son to turn out gay.
Oh, sounds familiar, huh, Eric?
Yeah, right.
How did that work out?
In my favor, because by the end of it, the mediator told her that if you don't give him this boy, then I'm gonna give him all the kids. And she hurried up and signed my son over to me.
So how did you end up getting the girls?
How I end up with the girls is, by this time I have called CPS on her. I think it was like 32 times in a period of me moving out to then. It was about 32 times. And an incident happened where she was with the ex-boyfriend, and one of my kids called me and said that the ex-boyfriend was doing something, hitting my ex-wife or something to her, whatever. And I end up going over there, and the police getting involved, and by the police coming there, they seen the home, they got CPS involved. CPS noticed that I called so many times, and then they noticed the conditions, and then that's how I end up with the kids.
They
So
keep track.
what was prompting you to call like 32 times, and why didn't CPS do anything? Like, were you calling because of the conditions your ex-wife had the kids in, or
Well, like I was telling y'all, she was in a deep, dark depression. She has been in this
Right.
depression for years, which means she's not doing nothing. The only thing that my ex-wife does is focus on God and Jesus all day long. No exaggeration. Listen, read the Bible, write notes. She goes out and pass stuff to the homeless. That's all she do all day long.
So
At,
she's masking and hiding her pain through religion.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
at,
like
at, at some point, she got to realize that that's not working.
oh, it's gonna hit her when reality takes hold and she loses everything and doesn't understand why when she's done all this praying and stuff. It's because you can't sit here and make God your entire focus and neglect everything else around you. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Do you still have communication with her?
Oh no, we been stopped communicating. She doesn't believe in homosexuality. I have a funny story is uh, my son, who I raised, majority of his life, is the only straight kid that I have.
Mm-hmm.
The children that she raised, majority of their life, are gay, lesbian, and bisexual. Let's talk about it.
Wow.
That's why. That's
Interesting.
No,
what I was leaning towards, Marco, when you said you got your son, and she didn't want them to be with you because she didn't want them to be gay. That's why I was like, how did that turn out? Because I'm like the
Just
majority
karma
of
can
her
do that. Like
children.
it's always funny how the universe can spin that shit. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have a gay partner, things like that, and your children end up that way. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
I told all my siblings, and each one of them got mad at me. I told them, I said, I love all of you. But I'm telling you now, y'all got too many damn kids for none of them kids to not be gay. Just know that. I don't give a fuck what any of you say. Y'all can get mad at me all you want to, but I have 17 nieces and nephews combined. It's 17. You can't tell me all 17 of them motherfuckers gonna be straight. That make no goddamn sense. That's not probability. It's not gonna that shit fucking happen. So all my sisters got mad at me when I said this. Never mind the fact that I have one sister who is bi, one sister who was with a woman, and one who tried to be with a woman. But they all got mad at me. They, you know what I'm saying? That
Why is
they
that a
all thought,
conversation you would have?
huh?
Why is that a conversation you would have with like one of y'all kids gonna
yeah,
be gay? Like,
right.
why
Yeah.
would you even say
So
if it
I was
happens, let it happen? But why would you say
because see the thing, it was a conversation that was being had because it was more or less like telling my sister. Well, I was talking to her husband, and I was telling him that I don't want to see my nieces and nephews be treated how I was treated when I was a kid growing up in this family. Like I was the only gay kid, gay one in my family for a while. You know what I'm saying? Then my sister, she came out as bi, but
Uh,
things were easier for her than for me.
you
So
were
I
you were the first.
so I try to tell them, look, as someone who has been through it, a couple of these kids are gonna be gay. Y'all just need to know that. Gay, bi, whatever. Y'all just need to prepare yourselves for that. And like, oh no, that's not good. If it does, I'll love them, but that's not what I want. It ain't shit about what you want. It ain't got shit to do with what you want. And that's what every parent goes through with that shit about what they fucking want with a gay kid.
Listen, I used to be a believer of at least 1 out of 4 is gonna be gay, but now I'm at 1 out of 3 gonna be gay.
And that's the thing is, Bert, it's like you cannot say that it won't happen. You really can't say that. You just
I swear, my brother has 4
don't
kids,
fucking.
and I'm not even trying to be funny. I swear, all his kids is gay, all 4 of them, and he's just like he's he's becoming gay accepting because of me, but he's like blindly in denial of his kids. That's just like so obvious.
It is.
I mean, so obvious.
And I mean, it's something that I truly wish people would just fucking wake up to. Like it's there. You can't unlearn it. You can't teach it. It's just fucking there. It's what the fuck it is.
Yes,
But
indeed.
we're gonna segue away from this because we can go on this tangent for a minute. Want to circle back. So, upon the dissolvement of your first marriage, what steps did you take after to heal and kind of start to move forward into the process who you were after that? Oop, technical difficulties.
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
now? Yes. Go ahead,
Um,
Marco.
ho- I accepted me for who I was, and I ended up finding somebody that was pretty much accepting of who they were, and they lived their life like they didn't care, and I kind of took on that, and when I did that, that's when I found happiness in life.
Now, what steps
Woo,
did
woo,
you?
woo.
Oh, what steps did you take during that process, like to heal? And also you met someone that encouraged and helped your life and helped you grow. But also, what other steps did you take that you recall?
It,
And,
there
and,
was necessarily no steps, no planned steps that I took. It was just
Right.
that me accepting me for who I was is what got me to the place of being happy with myself in life.
Mm.
How old were you when you realized?
I was about 27.
That's a good age. To go through that process of self acceptance in your 20s, that's a very good time to do that. Because you have people who take so much longer in life and don't even come out till they're in their 40s and 50s, and you spend that much part of your life trying to catch up and do all the thought and hoe shit that you can do when you're younger. You feel what I'm saying? Like I
I
feel
would
like go ahead.
I would say if I had Marco's if I had Marco's life or whatever, and I considered myself a no parent child or whatever, I could see me making those decisions early because now it was for me, it was like, okay, what would my mother think? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the reason that um I am slowly coming out now. You know what I'm saying? Because uh, you know,
You've been out for a while. What you mean slowly coming out? You've been out for a minute.
I've been out since my stroke.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Fully out. Yes, you can say that. Since you
yeah, because I was sitting in that bed and I was like, damn, I had a stroke or whatever. I was like, fuck it.
You gotta find
I,
a point in your life where you just
yep,
say, I want to be happy.
yep.
So, and being your most authentic self is truthfully the best way
But
to
I,
live
I,
a happy life.
I would say I would say everybody I told, my mother, my brother, and everybody, they was accepting of it. You know what I'm saying? My brother was like, finally, you know,
Right. That's you find that a lot. Your family be like, we was waiting on you to say
right.
That's the thing. Like in 2025, there really is no point in being DL. Honey, the signs are all there, and I don't give a fuck how much pussy you screw. If you like men, you like fucking men. It just is what the fuck it is. You can't hide it, run away from it. You can't shake it off like you can't. It's a part of who you are.
But in
And that's
2025, it's still it depends on the family you were raised in. Like if
I get
you have lived in a family that has said it's horrible, it's terrible, that you're going to hell and things like that, then it's still moments where you like, I'm not telling them because I don't want them not to love me. And
I get that.
I don't want to go to hell.
yeah, you still get families to this day who are like that. So I can understand if
Mhm.
someone is still like, I haven't come out because you see all these cases where people come out and the family is like, we don't ever want to see you again. So a lot that was a
Mhm.
big terrifying point for me to say something was I don't know how my parents are going to react. And I told y'all in a previous episode about my best friend and his mom and how that went down. And it made me say, oh, I ain't telling my family. No, because she done told him he going to hell, kicked him out the house. She let him back 3 days later. But the point was, it was like, I don't even want to go through that. So I'm just keep this shit to myself. So I get that. I do want to roll back around to Marco and because you're currently married now, again.
Correct.
And I do want to touch on that too before we, in essence of time. So you're now married to a man,
Correct.
and y'all dated once and broke up and got back together. So I want to kind of start at the first time y'all got together. Like um what was it that you think how long were y'all together the first time before the first breakup? And what broke y'all up the first time? And then Piggy, what brought y'all back together?
Real quick. It was the demeanor for me.
The
Uh,
what?
the demeanor for me. When he was like, "Yeah, I'm married."
Well,
That
we'll get
already
there. We're
clue
gonna
as
get
to
there.
where we're going.
we're gonna get to that response in a minute. But yeah, Marco, just like what made y'all get together the first time? What made y'all part ways, and then what brought y'all back
Yeah.
together?
What made you drink the
It's
Kool-Aid?
Ironically, how I end up meeting him was my ex I was with for 9 years recommended him to me, which I should have known. I should have known. Yeah, he recommended him to me, whatever.
It was
So
a trap.
yeah, and we met, hit it off, and we was together for 4 years. First time around. Why did it not work the first time around is because he had anger issues and I didn't think that he knew how to love.
okay.
Hmm.
So then, what brought y'all back to this? Like, how long were y'all apart, and what brought y'all back together?
So we were broken up for 4 years, and I was going through a period in life to where I felt like, I'm getting older. I don't want to be alone. People dying, this is like right after COVID, people dying every day. It was just a lot I was just dealing with. I was just going through a real lonely phase, and he wanted to have a meeting with me and discuss the past, and he apologized for a lot of shit and told me he's been in therapy and he see a lot of things differently, and I actually saw the change in him.
So what went left?
Um hmm
Do you feel like it was a
oh,
mask?
I felt like I was love bombed.
Yeah.
I do feel like that.
However,
So, so to what you're saying, you was going through a period where you were dealing with the effects of the pandemic and things like that. Could it also be that he was dealing with the same types of things, and that's what
Yes,
prompted him?
and not only that, his best friend ended up dying, and it was somebody that we met together that we were both pretty close to, and that played a part in it as well. It's like, well, damn, we all we got. Let's just make this official and let's just be together forever. So that kind of played a part into it too, which um we never really properly mourned over his death. And not only that,
right.
that in that time I kept dealing with death after death after death after death, and I ended up having to pull the plug on my dad, and so it was just a lot going on that played a
So,
part in that.
so to
So you,
sum it up, you can say basically y'all reconnected through trauma bonding.
Pretty
It was a
much.
it was a lot of heavy things happening, and you leaned on each other in that time because you essentially needed someone to help take that emotional weight. Is what you're saying,
Correct.
and
Correct.
that's understandable. Man. When we're going, anybody going through heavy stuff, you do that. You reach out to someone you feel connected to or once connected to, in hopes of either reconnecting and establishing a bond. It's something that. What did I feel like it is? Is that when you start losing people, you reach out for something physical you can hold on to, something tangible. Even if what is tangible is toxic, it's something that you're familiar with and you can readily touch. You know what I mean? And I think that's why because a lot of people do that. We walk back into toxic situations, they walk into bad situations or things we've been in the past. We walk back into those things for familiarity because maybe we feel a separation or a loss or a longing. And instead of trying to deal with that particular emotion and then making space for someone new to come in, we reach for the old and the familiar so that we don't have to do as much work and we can still get what we
Right.
think is some type of feeling for that void, but it's temporary. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Correct.
Yeah. That's what I get from what you're saying is like, and I understand that because going through the pandemic, losing a bunch of people, it was something that happened. Like, I developed this want to video chat with everybody I talked to from the pandemic. I want to be able to see you in real time because that was all we could do. So now that's what I've adapted to doing and what I feel better about doing when it comes to getting to know somebody. So, like, I understand where you were with that mentality. It's a rough place to be because you're just reaching. You're losing people that you love and you can't touch them anymore. So you just start reaching out. Who can I touch? Who can I hold on to? Everybody's leaving me type shit. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, I get 100% where you were.
Oh,
It can fuck with your mind. I get it.
so I want to ask a question based off of what Kyrie just said to you, Kong. Seeing as how you think it could have been possible that y'all trauma bonded and got back together. When you look back on it, do you see any red flags or warnings you might have had that maybe this, because you two are now in the process of parting ways? Do you think maybe there were red flags or things you weren't paying attention to because you were in this space where you were lonely and wanted to be with someone?
No, absolutely not. If I wish I can tell you exactly what the demise was, and then it would all make sense. But I would just say when you enter certain things into a relationship, it can destroy the relationship.
Very much.
And that's exactly what happened to my marriage. Something was entered and it came in and it did its job. It did what it was supposed to do, which was destroy us.
So basically, I think you can sum it to say it's a trust thing. Something came in, and the trust that you either had built or were in the process of building, something came in and like that. You know what I'm saying?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why. But see, me, that's why I don't necessarily. I want to be married, but sometimes I don't believe in how big people make marriage out to be. It's a very weird double-edged sword that I have because I grew up seeing my parents married. The marriage was not good, but it always ingrained in me a want to be married or have a partner. But as I've gotten older, I've seen through my own learning that I don't fucking need to be married to anybody to be with somebody. Number one. Number two, marriage is a lie. It is at its core, honestly, it is a business contract when it was first it brought out, being bonded to somebody else. Being married for love is still, even though it's centuries old, still new to a lot of people because of what we were all taught. I mean, but nowadays, I mean, yes, you want to marry for love. That is the common thing that you want. But I'm just saying, marriage is a fucking lie as I see it.
Why is it
Here's
a
the thing,
lie?
though, that I absolutely want to get married again. I do. I am a hopeless romantic. I believe in love. I just feel like I picked the wrong person to do it with. It was the wrong person, wrong time, and I felt like I had to go through this to learn the lessons that I needed to learn, and I feel like I've learned them.
And that's a question that I asked before uh before today. I was like, maybe Marco is or maybe Kong is the type of person that feels that he has to be married. You know what I'm saying? For whatever. You know what I'm saying? But
I think it's
No,
the
I
reason
don't
why.
necessarily have to be married, but I want to be able to say I had a successful try at a marriage. And I feel like I'd have been married twice and I haven't had a successful go at a marriage to even say that I gave my all to make this marriage work. Like people come at me with the situation I'm in now because I'm trying to be divorced as quickly as I possibly can. People come at me and they say, y'all can't get counseling. There's no way for y'all to work it out. When there is lines crossed, when the trust is gone, it's impossible. It's impossible. He even, not to say too much of his business, he asked me a question himself. He said, what are our options to make this work? I said the only two options we have is be completely wide open, or we got to separate. That's
And
the only two options.
And he ain't want to do that.
I didn't want to do it. I was done at that point.
to go back to what Hemi asked, the reason why I say marriage is a lie is because people have created these traditional quote unquote concepts of what marriage is supposed to be. That's not it. Marriage at its core is supposed to be a bond that you share with your partner. That you agree that you are going to, and this is if you're married for love, and I'm taking the whole business thing out of it. When you bond with somebody, it's supposed to be because you understand you want to share a life with that person. Whatever that life looks like is what you two build. That includes your marriage. I don't believe in a traditional marriage. I don't believe in monogamy. I believe if I'm going to be in a relationship, and yes, if I do get married, because I do want to be married, both of those situations will be open. Because attraction never
Why
dies.
does that? I'm still not understanding why that makes marriage a lie. Marriage can be
Because
whatever the two
things that people
people
have been taught.
or the polygamy people decide to make it, but I don't think it makes it a lie.
The traditional things that people have been taught what marriage is
But
supposed to
if that is what you
be,
want your marriage to be, that's not a lie because it is true for you, is what I'm saying.
it's,
If
but if you
somebody
make it your
wants
truth
a
in that moment,
traditional,
yes.
but it might not be true for you, but if somebody wants traditionally what they feel like marriage is, why can they not want that?
I'm not saying you can't want it. I'm
So
just
it
saying
doesn't make it a lie.
it makes it a lie to the masses that you want to make it the one thing you're supposed to do in every single marriage. That's a lie. If
What's
you
the
agree
one
that's
thing?
what you want, that's what you want.
What's the
You know
one
what I'm
thing?
saying? But your marriage should be what you and your partner decide on together.
That's what that's isn't every marriage what two partners decide they want it to be?
No,
Why not?
no.
Why would
Have you,
people get
have you seen
why would
straight
you get
couples and
married?
how they're married?
Why would you get married to someone and you don't agree?
Because sometimes people are forced into marriages they don't want to be in. Sometimes people go into arranged marriages where they have no absolute choice. There is no
Okay,
such
but
thing.
that doesn't make it a lie.
Yes, it is because it's not based on how you feel and what you want. It's based on what you are taught you're supposed to have.
Okay, but arranged marriage
Um,
rarely happen these days.
they,
In our
they,
country,
Most
in
people,
our arranged marriages still happen in other
hey,
countries.
okay, but most people who get married in America get married because they
hey,
want
hey,
to.
hey,
So I'm
hey,
confused
Most people get married
where the
because
lie
they
is.
want.
hey,
No, most people
they
get
do that.
married now because they get what.
They do that in a different culture.
Right. And
Yeah,
we're talking about our culture.
yeah,
Like
we talking
We
about.
people who get
even
married here get married because they want to and have a
no,
discussion
not
about
all
what
the time.
marriage should look like.
Not all the time. You have women in this
But I
country who
feel
get
like
married soon because
but I
they're
feel like the
or because
majority
they
of
want to get
people
married
in
for a couple
our
years. You have
culture,
men in this country who get married soon because they don't want to fucking wash a goddamn dish. And it's not true. You can't sit
but
here and
that ain't
say that.
based on the lie. That's what she wants.
That is the
To
lie.
get married so she don't have to do nothing. That's not a
No,
lie.
the
That's
lie
what I
is
want.
believing that there's supposed to be one specific role for a wife and one role for a husband. That's the fucking lie.
But if that is what they agree to, then that is their truth.
That's fine. That
Right?
makes it true for them, but
Oh,
it doesn't make it
but
true for the
right,
masses.
but you're so then you need to say that's how you feel, not that
I
in
don't agree
general
with you
marriage
on
is
that.
a
I'm
lie.
giving you that. I know.
But
I'm giving
right,
you that
but you're saying it in a general way, like marriage is a lie,
because
and
overall, I believe that. That is
but
what
you
I
feel,
feel.
but that's because you
Half of
want a
all
different
marriages
type of
fucking fall
marriage.
apart. So how
But
is it?
that doesn't make what this woman, if this woman wants to be a housewife and sit on her ass and do nothing, that her husband said you don't have to do nothing,
And
then that's
all
their truth.
all
Right?
marriages don't fall
Every
apart.
marriage is different.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's
But it's
exactly what
based on the people who enter into the marriage is based on their truth. So that does not make the marriage a lie. And
I'm not
then
though.
things could change
Saying
as you're
I'm
married.
saying the overall concept of what society has made marriage out to be is a lie. Not
I
what
I don't
people
agree.
believe to be true for their fucking marriage, or he and he, or she and she, or they and they. What those people believe to be for their marriage is what it is. What I'm saying is the overall foundation and concepts that people have constantly been pushed and taught of this till death do us part and obey this and all some shit. That shit does not fucking always stand. It really
Okay.
depends on fucking people.
Okay. So
Okay, it still don't make it a lie to me, but that we can agree to disagree.
Girl, I love you, but you know,
I love
this,
you too, but you're
this gonna be
making
new
me.
people.
we will say that for another show.
Right.
We got
I've
Kong here.
enjoyed this episode. I really have, honestly.
Um, do y'all have any questions for Kong?
Yeah, steering it back to our guest. Hey, Kong, how you doing, buddy? What's going on, baby?
I'm good. I'm good.
Sorry, Kong, we do this sometimes.
Right, bring this train back around to our guest. Hey, honey, smiling with them pearly whites. I see you, baby. Like,
Kong, I do want to say that, I know you very well. You're one of my closest friends. And I appreciate the fact that you are, when it comes to romance and love and marriage, you are this optimist, even when things don't work out. It's like, but I can't wait to get married again. And I appreciate that about you. I have
yeah,
never been married. I don't know if I ever will get married. I'm never saying never, but I just have not met anyone that has made me want to
that,
enter into that contract and forever be there. I just appreciate your optimism, friend. I just want to say that about you. That's one of the
Well,
things I
thank
love
you.
about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah, like it's been a really good conversation. I'm so glad that you decided to be a guest. I feel like I've gotten to know so much more about you. You know what I'm saying? You're one of my dear brothers, and I love you dearly. It's really something to think about because I still believe that I still believe that marriage is something that is a beautiful thing when it works. When you find your person, I do whether you put a ring on their finger, common law marriage, however you want to, shake it down. When you find your person, it is a beautiful thing. And that is something that I really appreciate knowing is that there's another hopeless romantic out there because we exist in this world and it seems like sometimes we get a bad rap because we love for the sake of loving. So I completely appreciate your openness, your honesty. You have a very big heart, even though you hide it behind being a whore, and I love that about you. I love that so much.
Why does everything circle back to sex, bitch? I
Because
just
we're all whores in here. We're all whores. We're all whores.
And why is
Okay,
that
that's why.
necessary to
Well,
put
I'm
that
not
out
a
there?
whore.
right. That's what I'm like.
It's like to, freely express myself.
Oh, okay, I know that's right, honey. We are freely expressed. I'm sorry, honey.
You can call me a tease or something. I'll accept those type of titles.
Oh, that's him, Mr. Look But Don't Touch.
That's why
Ooh.
he's one of my best friends. Birds of a feather flock together.
Oh, so you're all whores. Okay.
Ah,
No, he said I'm not a whore, and I am not a whore either.
Oh,
no, he is a whore. Him is a slut. That's the
slut
difference. You're
friendly.
right. Him is a slut.
Not a
Hey, I
slut
love you.
either.
Wow.
You're
Says you.
very, very jealous of me, Kyrie. It's okay.
He says that about everything, and it's very not true. There's nothing to be jealous about over there. Not a
If
damn thing.
anybody's a whore on the conversation, it's my co-host.
People are watching.
That no, you know what? I just am more willing to freely admit that I have had fun.
Freely
At,
open your legs.
at one
Oh,
time, yes, they were spread very nicely, but it's okay though. We learn, we grow. You know what I'm saying? We get experience in life.
Yeah, okay. So I think that's a great place to wrap this show.
Yes, this has been a very great episode. I loved all the questions. I thought that was amazing. Yeah, we hit you with some joints kind of rapid fire fast, bro. You handled them things well, man.
Hey, I'm in the midst of the storm. Listen,
uh,
wait till y'all bring me back after the divorce.
oh,
Oh,
Then we
Lord.
can
We
spill
will.
the
We'll
tea.
bring you
That's
back.
gonna be a good show. That's gonna be. We're gonna record that episode at night with some cocktails.
Right.
Okay, so here's the thing. Would you have any advice for the lovers out there that will be seeing and hearing this episode?
The best advice I would give anybody that's in a marriage, in a relationship, or even trying to pursue any of those things. If you're not willing to do the work, don't do it. It is work. It is hard work. It's irritating work, but it's work.
Well, the thing is, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And if you love that person so much that you want to be with them, you have to be willing to do the work, pretty much.
But when you love somebody that much, does it feel like work?
It is work. It
Love is
absolutely
an up
is.
and down to me. So you
Oh
every
yeah.
day won't be
If
great.
you want it
Some
to be
days, yeah.
successful, you have to apply into it. You have to.
So
Well,
that
Some days will feel like work. Some days will feel like a
that
breeze. But
that
I
just
feel like
Right.
it's a choice you make to stay in it. And if
And
uh,
if
and where
every
for an
day.
you're at,
example, what I mean by work is sometimes you have to put your feelings to the side to cater
Yeah,
to this person's feelings.
yeah.
That's work.
but
A lot of people can't do that.
but that's solely on person to person. Some
right.
people can feel like it's not work as far as providing for their family. You know what I'm saying? So that's on
But I
person.
feel like if you've been in a relationship for years, there's always gonna be peaks and valleys. And
Hmm.
the valleys are gonna feel like work. But is it work that you're willing to do? Or can I not handle this and I need to step away? But I feel like friendships, love, all relationships have peaks and valleys. But are you willing to put in the work to keep it? And sometimes it's too much, and sometimes it's work I can handle, and I'll get us back up to a peak from this valley we're in. But I feel like it is based on the two people and where their heads are.
I agree with that.
That's just
Now,
like go ahead,
oh,
my bad. I'm sorry.
real quick, real quick. So hold your thought, real quick. Don't lose it. I feel like, and I'm just going to say this quickly. When you have that type of love for your partner or your family or your friends, that emotional labor doesn't necessarily feel like work because you want to do it. You want to invest. You want to make it sustainable. So it doesn't necessarily feel like work. Does that make sense?
I would say this. People, I know y'all heard the saying,
So I'm not
if
worried about you.
if you don't water a flower, it's not gonna grow. If you don't water a relationship, it's not gonna grow. Whether you call it work, whether you call it ease, whatever, it's something you have to put into it.
Time.
Whether you want to call it a tomato, or whatever the case,
Right.
you still have to put something into it in order for it to grow.
And there it is right there. Henry, any last words before we bring this episode to a close, sir?
Have nothing. Just I appreciate my friend for coming on and speaking so eloquently and being so open about what he's been through. I appreciate it, friend.
Likewise, sir. Thank you so much for coming on. We definitely appreciate it. All right,
Thank
y'all.
you for
Let's
having
give a
me.
big applause for Kong, everybody. Yes. Woo-hoo! All right. Yes, mama. This was a great episode. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in to another wonderful episode of What's the Point. Please listen to this episode on Thursday morning on Spotify and everywhere that you get your podcast at 11 a.m. And you also
And you can see it on YouTube on Fridays at 11 a.m. You can also visit our website, what'sthepointpod.com. And there'll
yes.
be links to the audio, the visual, everything you need will be there.
Yeah. What happened?
Say what now?
Oh,
He said, well, okay, the voice from beyond threw me off. But anyway, no. Yes, thank you, my co-host. What he said is correct. And also, if you see below, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the wonderful things. You know what I'm saying? So you always know when we are.
Comment.
I
Talk.
said like, share, comment, subscribe.
I'm just adding. We want to talk to the people.
Low dark. No, I'm kidding. Henry, I love you very much, man.
Love you
Season-
more.
Yep, you big bitch. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Hemi, please tell our audience what
Get it
they
together.
do.
Keep it classy, y'all. Until
Thank
next
you.
time.
Goodbye.